He was known only as the Man in the Iron Mask, a prisoner so mysterious, so hidden from the world, that even centuries later his true identity remains one of history's most enduring enigmas. No one knew his name. No one heard his voice. No one saw his face. All that was known was that he was held in a series of prisons under the strictest secrecy, his face permanently concealed behind a mask. An iron one, according to legend. But was it really made of iron? And why would a man be kept hidden from the world so completely for so long? Our story begins in the year 1669, during the reign of Louis XIV of France. Known as the Sun King, Louis ruled with absolute power, and his court at Versailles was the center of European politics and culture. It was during this time that a mysterious prisoner was transferred to the Bastille in Paris, one of the most secure fortresses in the country. His arrival was marked by the kind of precautions reserved only for those deemed most dangerous, or most sensitive. The prison governor was given strict orders: ensure the prisoner is isolated, never allow him to communicate with anyone, and above all, make sure his identity remains a secret. The mask was not to be removed under any circumstances. For more than 3 decades, this man was moved from one prison to another. He spent time in Pignerol, Sainte Marguerite, and finally the Bastille. Wherever he went, the same procedures followed. He was under constant surveillance. Guards who served him were threatened with death if they spoke of him. Even letters referring to the prisoner used codes or euphemisms. It was clear this was no ordinary man. The legend of the Iron Mask grew over time. Some said the mask was actually made of black velvet, but reinforced with metal. Others believed it was solid iron, uncomfortable and heavy, designed to strip the man of dignity and identity. But the most chilling detail was not the mask itself. It was the suggestion that someone had gone to extreme lengths to erase this man from the historical record. And when people try so hard to hide something, it's often because that something could change everything. So, who was he? Many theories have been proposed over the years. One of the earliest and most sensational was that the masked man was the twin brother of Louis XIV. This theory was famously popularized by the French writer Alexandre Dumas in his novel The Man in the Iron Mask, where he imagined a royal plot to hide a legitimate heir to the throne in order to protect Louis's reign. It's a gripping story, full of drama and betrayal, but is there any truth to it? Officially, no records exist of a twin brother being born to the Queen. But if such a birth had occurred, and it threatened the line of succession, would it not be the kind of secret that could spark civil war? Some historians believe it's unlikely, but they can't completely rule it out. After all, Louis XIV was obsessed with maintaining control. The idea of a royal rival, even one locked away in a dungeon, would have been intolerable. Other theories point to high-ranking individuals who may have offended the king. One candidate is Eustache Dauger, a man known to have been arrested around the same time the masked prisoner appeared. Dauger was linked to political scandals, possibly even espionage. Some documents mention him being used as a valet to other prisoners, yet he, too, was kept under extraordinary secrecy. Could Dauger have known something so dangerous that the only solution was permanent silence? Then there's the case of Count Ercole Antonio Mattioli, an Italian diplomat who betrayed the king in a financial deal and was abducted and imprisoned in France. He died in captivity, and some believe he was the original masked man. But his timeline and the details of his imprisonment don't fully align with those of the more mysterious prisoner who would come to be known only by his mask. Still, others speculate that the prisoner was a disgraced noble, perhaps someone involved in a failed rebellion, or a political enemy who was silenced not by execution, but by anonymity. Some even suggest that he may have been a relative of a foreign ruler, or the illegitimate offspring of a royal affair, someone whose existence would threaten diplomatic alliances or church authority. What adds fuel to these theories is the fact that the man was treated with a strange degree of respect. He was not thrown into a filthy dungeon. He was given decent food, medical attention, books, and even musical instruments. His jailers were instructed not to abuse him. Some reported that he was well educated, calm, and articulate. Whatever he had done, or whatever he knew, it seemed he was not a common criminal, but someone of importance. There are even accounts suggesting that the prisoner wrote poetry, played instruments, or engaged in deep conversations with his guards, though always through a veil of secrecy. It's said that some jailers came to admire him, while others feared what he represented. He was a ghost within the system, a living paradox, invisible yet unforgettable. And perhaps that's why the mask became so symbolic, because it wasn't just about hiding a face. It was about erasing an identity. The mystery deepened after his death in 1703. Official records list the prisoner as Marchioli, likely a corruption of Mattioli, but this appears to be a deliberate misdirection. He was buried under that name, and his few belongings were destroyed. Even the walls of his cell were scraped clean. The goal was total erasure. And yet, despite all efforts, rumors persisted. Centuries later, historians continue to search for clues. Some pore over dusty archives, royal correspondence, or prison logs looking for patterns or contradictions. Others analyze the political climate of the time, seeking motives and opportunities for such a cover-up. Occasionally, new documents come to light. A letter, a receipt, a journal entry that adds one more piece to the puzzle. But the full picture remains elusive. Why would a king, even one as powerful as Louis XIII, go to such lengths to hide the identity of a single man? The answer likely lies at the intersection of power, fear, and legacy. If the man in the iron mask posed a threat to the king's image, to the monarchy, or to the divine right by which he ruled, then secrecy would have been the ultimate weapon. Silence speaks volumes, and in this case, it speaks of something the crown could never afford to reveal. Over time, the mask has become a symbol, not just of mystery, but of how history is shaped by those in power. It reminds us that behind the grandeur of palaces and the glory of crowns, there are stories deliberately buried. Some are scandals. Some are tragedies. Some may never be known. But they leave traces. And sometimes all it takes is one mask to ignite centuries of speculation. As we imagine the man behind the iron mask, sitting in solitude year after year, we're left with haunting questions. Did he ever hope for release? Did he understand why he was imprisoned? Did he know that one day the world would speak his name, even if they never knew his face? Perhaps that's why this story endures. Not because of what we know, but because of what we don't. The man in the iron mask was more than just a prisoner. He was a mystery so carefully guarded that even time has struggled to uncover the truth. And until that truth is revealed, if it ever is, we'll continue to wonder who he really was, and why he had to disappear behind cold, silent iron.